All right. Good morning, people. So I just want to do a quick little technical analysis slash trading lesson on NVIDIA and Taiwan Semi. So where is NVIDIA trading this morning? Right up around 139, 140. I'm going to put in this line right around 139 or 140. Notice how it was the top here 2 days ago or 3 days ago. So what's today, Thursday? So that was on Monday. And also notice how it was resistance back here. All right. So it's not a coincidence. Oh, and this is where it's trading this morning, right up around here. So it's not a coincidence that the stock hit resistance here. There's an old saying on Wall Street: "Sell at former peaks," and it's like most wives' tales. It's kind of based in reality. You got to understand there are people who bought back here who once they buy, I mean, this was the opening trade. The thing just fell out of bed. So ever since then, that was in June, they've been waiting for the stock to get back up to their price so they can sell it and get out at break even. So if there's enough of these regretful traders and investors or remorseful buyers placing sell orders at the same level they bought at to get out at break even, it creates resistance. So you get resistance at former peaks. It's a very common thing in the markets. Sometimes things sell off of resistance, like we just saw over the last couple of days. Why is that? Well, resistance is a large group of sellers, as we've discussed, right? Sometimes some of these sellers get concerned that they're going to miss out. So they decide, maybe I won't get the exact price that I bought at, but it's close enough. So I'm going to reduce my price that I want to sell at from 137 to 136. Say. Someone else sees that and like, wow, they're going to 136. I know that that's who the buyers are going to go to. They're going to go to whoever is willing to sell at the lowest price, right? So I better reduce the price I'm willing to sell at. And it starts a snowball effect, which pushes the stock lower. So very common, run into some resistance at former peaks, and very common to sell off of resistance. Now, next lesson. Why did we find support right around here? Notice it's the same level as this former peak. So this is this just shows that peaks are important, right? So there's peak here. There's people that sell. They thought they were the next Steve Cohen when the market fell out of bed. Blah blah blah. Gets finally up through their level. They're like, "Oh, I made a mistake. If it gets back to my level, I'm going to buy my shares back if I get them at the same price I sold them at." Now, you may notice that it got to support right there and then it rallied. Why do things rally off of support? Well, it's the opposite. The buyers start to get anxious. The buyers know the sellers are going to go to whoever is willing to pay the highest price. So one buyer might say, I'm going to pay 130. The next buyer might be like, well, I really want the shares. I'm going to pay 131. Someone else might see that and be like, you're paying 131. I'm going to go to 131 and a half. Snowball effect. All right. So resistance at former peaks, support at former peaks. Now we'll just go look at Taiwan Semi, which is skyrocketing this morning, trading up around here on their earnings. Well, I'm going to put that right there. And I'm going to do my little Bob Ross and put this right up. This little happy level is right there. So that's where the stock's trading this morning. You'll see some of the same action here. We ran into resistance at a former peak. Okay. Now this morning on the earnings, the stock broke above this former peak. We call that a breakout. It's not just symbolic. Think about what it tells us. We know that around this resistance here, around 193, there was a large group of sellers. The fact that the stock is trading above that means that those sellers are gone. They're out of the way. They left the market. They finished their orders. Maybe they canceled their orders. Regardless, when you take a lot of supply out of a market, meaning sellers, the demand side, meaning buyers, are going to have to be really aggressive and be willing to pay higher prices to draw the sellers in off of the sidelines and get them interested again. So that is a breakout. And if the stock does come back in, I'm not saying it will. I mean, there's a good chance, but just look for support at the level that was peak before. If it comes back in and gets down to around 193, it's a good chance that that's where it finds a bottom for reasons thus discussed. Okay, thank you all. See you.